Hi fam, I am Chef Leah Delight DiBernardo. Welcome to At the Table, our new weekly podcast where we invite thought-provoking guests to gather around the table to talk about good food, community, and everything in between. My pup Remy and I are happy you're here. Hey, welcome back. I'm Chef Leah Delight DiBernardo, and we're at the table today with Bobby Castro the third, but then he's going to have a little something to say about the third, and that's okay. But today we're going to dig into a little science, some cocktails, some food, and just that vibe of what it was like to grow up around the table with some cool parents and good food.
Yeah, absolutely.
Welcome.
Hi, welcome. Thank you for having me.
Welcome, my friend. Just really quickly, the third. So how'd you become Bobby Castro the third?
So my dad's dad is Robert Castro, and then my dad is Robert Castro. The reason I'm not technically a third is because I don't have a middle name, or I have a middle name, and my grandpa and dad don't have a middle name.
So there's a whole lineage.
Yes.
So there's grandpa, dad, you.
Me. That's it.
And that is the third, but this whole middle thing, we're just going to let that go, Bobby. Don't tell anybody.
Okay.
Perfect. It's just going to be between you and I.
Dr. Bob the third.
I love that. So Dr. Bob. So I've known you for a while, right? We're both in food and hospitality restaurants in Temecula, which is Southern California, right above San Diego County in Riverside, just so everybody knows where we are. And so we both have establishments in Old Town Temecula. Bobby and Reagan at Corbeaux Wine Tea are at one end, Eat Marketplaces at the other. So I'm just like sharing this because this is our really cool relationship, because I go hang out at their place. They come out and hang out at my place when we have time, though, which is just a joke, right?
Yeah, we never have time. There's always something to do.
There's always something to do. But what's really fascinating to me is I know your background a little bit, but I had no idea that you had tell us your role at Corbeaux, because I really want to talk about your doctorate and that you're a scientist, because I think that's so bitchin' when you connect that to being a bartender, but you're not a bartender, you're a director of beverages for Corbeaux, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So at Corbeaux, I'm the bar director. I kind of wear a lot of hats. I am, in theory, not an owner. Reagan is the sole owner of Corbeaux. But I do have that role as well. But my main role is bar director and front of house manager.
I love that.
And I guess how it comes into me getting my doctorate. So I got my doctorate at Washington State in pharmacy.
Pullman. So that makes him.
Spokane.
Yeah, but still, but still, we're talking about Cougars over Huskies. I just want to make this clear so everybody knows.
Go Cougs.
He's a Cougar. You're a Cougar.
I know. I'm a good one too.
All right.
And so that's just kind of how I did it. I've always wanted to. I mean, I can go into deep roots of my childhood and everything, but I really wanted to go to college. I was never smart. I just worked hard, and it's kind of where I learned to, I went to Cal Baptist for biology, and then I was like, well, I could go get my master's. That sounds really cool. And then my dad's all like, why not just go for it all? What's to stop you? And I was like, all right, so I'll go get my doctorate. I was going to do it initially in med school. So I took my MCAT, went that route. I took my MCAT also hungover. That was tough.
So I think that your title of head of beverage is apropos, because you took your MCAT hungover. So you come by it naturally. But I just want to say something really quickly about, you just said you never thought you were smart enough. You're brilliant.
Well, I just work hard, and I will.
Yeah, but there's some brilliance with that. So give yourself some credit.
Fair enough.
All right.
Yeah. For me, my entire, I guess, ethos behind that is why I kept going to go get my doctorate, which was in high school. I had to write some of my own letter of recommendations to get into college. I was a class clown. I was just a funny, goofy guy. And then I failed out of microbiology in one of my first semesters in my junior year.
That's high school?
No, this is now grad or college. Undergrad,
okay.
Sorry. And then my professor's like, you need to wake up, or you need to do something with your life.
Sure, we all have.
You're not doing anything. You're failing. You're just goofing around.
Yeah, we all have that call sometimes.
And so, and then I was like, I like chemistry. I like biochemistry, and I went into pharmacy, and then I went to go apply. I got into USC. I denied USC, and I went to Washington State.
Okay, so
the rent at USC is ridiculous.
Oh, the rent at USC was ridiculous. Yeah. So I went in Spokane, Washington.
Mm-hmm.
I have some deep connections with Spokane, Washington, as well, as you know. Like Roast House Coffee is there, and my sister Deborah founded that, and now Aaron Jordan runs it. Bless his heart. Have you been? I'm just curious.
No, I've talked to Aaron, but
because you're a coffee guy, like you love coffee. So I'm all right. Let's back up, and I want to give thanks to your teacher who helped pull your head out of your ass.
Dr. Park.
And what was his name?
Dr. Park.
Dr. Park, thank you so much for putting Bobby back on the right track, because we need that sometimes in our life. I've had that person too, right? We have these people who help lift us up and get us to the next level. But you were also open to that.
Yeah.
And that's huge. And I love that about you. So you are Dr. Bobby Castro the Third. What a title.
I know, right?
Dude, you need to wear that.
Well, it's funny. Mark, one of my head saw me at Corbeaux. He always tells people, he's like, he's actually a doctor. And they're like, yeah, because I'm, when I'm making drinks behind the bar, it seems kind of weird for people to be like, you have a doctorate? Why are you here? And Mark is always like, no, he really does. He got his, doctorate in pharmacology. I was like, yeah, I really do. I make good drinks.
I think so. I have something to say about that. I think that it's rather interesting that we can't be highly educated and be in the service industry, or 100%. That there's a stigma with that, because it couldn't be further from the truth, right?
Yeah. But that's so hard to change. I mean,
well, you're talking to an optimist, right? Like I really am when it comes to things like this. And we could change anything we want. It's just about being positive and having that consistent conversation, right?
Absolutely.
So as a scientist, I want to talk about cocktails.
So the first bartender, in theory, was...
Every time I say I want to talk about cocktails, he goes away from that. So anyway, go ahead.
No, I'll segue into it.
Okay.
The first bartenders in history were alchemists, which are, in theory, pharmacists. I mean...
100%.
Dr. Pepper was a pharmacist.
Oh my gosh. That's just a little bit of trivia for all you trivia freaks out there right now.
So it's, I mean, we make, concoctions, we make tinctures, we make all these things. We use alcohol for several medicinal purposes that, have been debunked or not debunked. But in theory, medicine and cocktails there's kind of coexist with each other.
So there could be a healthier approach to cocktails then, is what I'm hearing.
Absolutely. There's actually a bar in LA called Apothique. And Apothique, yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to them, I guess. No affiliation, but they make a lot of tinctures, and their syrups are with a lot of natural herbs that are, hey, if you want to do this, or if you want to have some sort of feeling this way, boom.
Do you think that that's leading into the adaptogen drink movement? So the whole non-alcohol, the NA movement, and I'm seeing that it's really popular with the generation coming up underneath us. Man, Gen Z is all about that, and I applaud it, because why do we have to overly poison ourselves with so much alcohol when you can get a nice buzzy vibe off of an adaptogen? What do you think about that?
So I mean, I guess just to each your own. It's really cool to see how much flavors you can get from different things.
Give me an example. Give me an example of one of your favorite drinks that you're making with herbs and teas, and how you're pulling all that together.
So I just made a Japanese maple cocktail with oolong and pu'er tea.
Pu'er tea?
Pu'er, yeah.
Am I pronouncing it right?
Pu'er. Yeah, pu'er. So
I just sounded like Moira. Did you hear that?
Pu'er. So the tea's actually really unique, and they actually in the, I think it's Second Dynasty. I have to fact check myself on that.
Don't worry, someone that's listening will do that for us.
Yes, please, yeah, let us know. They used to trade the tea for Tibetan horses. So Pu'er is
Wow.
a small little town in the Fujian province in China, and they would literally go and hike this bricks of tea. It looks like brown cocaine bricks, and it's all dried up, and they would take it to Tibet, and they would exchange it for horses.
That's crazy
Yeah.
bitchin'. I love that.
It's a really, really unique tea. It's a advanced tea for people who are, because it's pretty. It can be unique and earthy and whatnot. So I use that with oolong. I have maple syrup that I get from Maine and stuff like that. I mean, those are flavors that if I wanted to, because I can't have like hard alcohol. I can't have bourbon or whiskey. So I have to pivot a lot with my flavors. And so
Okay.
leading back into the adaptogens, tea is a really, really prime way of getting unique flavors. Like if you actually see non-alcoholic wine, like not dealcoholized, that's a little different.
Okay.
But if you like the way that they're making the juices, they use a lot of tea. They use pu'er and oolong.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So they're layering their flavors.
Mhm. Yeah. So getting into that with the adaptogens, there's so much things that you can do you can distill you can make a tincture, you can add a atomizer. I mean, you're not playing with all five senses of.
What's an atomizer?
So an atomizer is like a spray, like just a regular. So
I know that, but I want you to clarify it for us.
Yeah. So an atomizer is basically when I have my cup fully finished, I can either spray the glass before, I can spray the glass after.
And you're infusing it kind of, right?
What you're mainly getting is the aromatics because you also taste things with your nose.
You know, it's interesting how complicated that food and alcohol and teas, like all of our beverages, all of this can be. But I think when you apply some basic science, you can get something that's just really beautiful and different and kind of moves you. And I suppose like fills you in a different way.
Yeah.
Like so maple, can we go back to the maple you're using real quick? Because you're bringing in a specific maple. I caught that. And I'm curious if you're bringing in that maple because it has a different flavor profile because of where the trees that maple came from.
I personally like the Maine maple syrup a little bit better than like a Vermont. Or from just
We're
Canada.
Totally going to start a war.
Yeah,
that's
100%.
awesome.
So I guess shout out to Kenny Bunkaport in Maine.
There we go. All right, Kenny. We like your maple, baby.
No, that's the name of the town.
Oh, okay.
Kenny Bunkaport.
Okay, well, oh my gosh. Yeah. I just call me out right funny,
now. Side note real quick, because I know I'll go on tangents, but my good friend who taught me a lot about bartending in Spokane when I started, he is from Kenny Bunkaport. And I went to this like
Kenny Bunkaport.
Kenny Bunkaport. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a town in Maine, y'all.
10-letter word.
And I just said y'all.
Yeah.
The hell?
Y'all's not in Maine.
I don't know where that came from.
But anyways, I enjoy that maple syrup.
Okay.
It's nice. It's a little bit lighter, not as like molassesy rich. So for me, it works nicely in cocktails. Mm-hmm. If I wanted to maybe add some extra like weight or viscosity to it, I could maybe add more sugar to it, but I enjoy it, and maple syrup is pretty strong.
But you're using it because it's lighter, and that's the point that I want to make, because there's so much to food. Like not all maple syrup tastes the same, not all oolong tastes the same, not all coffee tastes the same, right? There are different trees, there are different terroirs, there's different soil, there's all these different patterns in play that are going to give you a taste profile. Yes. So when you're picking a sugar, like let's just talk about sugar for a minute. Beet, coconut, what else? Date, molasses, honey, right? There's all these sweeteners and they all give food and or a beverage a different taste.
Yeah. So for me, exactly, I don't use turbinado sugar. I use Demerara that I get from Guyana. It always has issues getting over from customs because people think it's like gold cocaine. But Guyana makes really, really good Demerara, and it's a lot more coarse, yes. And I like the way that it helps with my syrup. So I just do a 1-to-1 ratio of my syrups. But turbinado is a lot more that burnt aspect of things, and it's bringing in more of that molasses note, which I don't want. I want something lighter, but that's not fully white. But if I'm going to make a tea syrup, which is what I normally do with my cocktails, I'll use a white sugar.
Okay. That's okay. We just had a whole lesson in sugar. And our second reference to cocaine, since we've been on the show this morning. But I do want to point out that if you listen to a lot of Ella Fitzgerald, she talks about it quite freely, because apparently it was a thing back then that you could just talk about and there was no stigma attached. So I just think it's kind of funny. I don't think that any of our listeners are snorting sugar, though. Well, no. I hope you're not snorting sugar.
I hope that no one's snorting sugar. They still use cocaine in OR.
Oh, for what?
So
OR as in the hospital in emergency.
Yeah, so it's a
we just went from tea and cocktails to OR and cocaine.
Yep, so they have a blue dye with it, and they use it for a lot of like any sort of like nose surgeries or anything to the face, because there's a lot of blood vessels there, and it constricts. So they actually like sprinkle it like a little salt.
Well, I'm sure that there's a place for it too, right? Because it is a natural and it's from a plant. It's just misusing it, like all things, right? Like alcohol.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So one of my favorite seasons is fall. Like, I love fall. I get a little crazy with the whole pumpkin thing, you know, pumpkin spice, all of that. But I'm intrigued that
but it does sell.
It does sell. It's a big seller. Pumpkin spice. I have this whole thing right now. Let's do gourds, and we'll call it Gorgulicish. Gorgulicish. I can't even say it right. But I just thought that was funny instead of using pumpkin. But for your fall menu, you're working on your own vermouth. Is that for your fall menu, or you're just doing your own vermouth because you can?
Both. It's not going to be for my fall menu. It's going to be for my winter one. Hopefully.
Okay. So can we just talk quickly about like what vermouth is?
Yes. Vermouth is also known as Vermut, which is German for
Vermuten, yeah.
It's something like that. Someone will have to fact check me. But it is basically a tincture or accumulation of herbs, botanicals, and the main primary ingredient is wormwood.
Oh, wormwood's really good for like if you have headaches and pain. And that's just
wormwood is the dominant ingredient in absinthe. So you're also chasing the green fairy when you're messing around with it, because wormwood has a chemical in it that it's called theogen, and it basically, like in the United States, we're only limited to a certain amount of, I think, micrograms or milligrams of it in absinthe, so we can have it, but which is just new in 2007. We were allowed to have absinthe. And so
circle us back to vermouth, though.
So the vermouth is basically a alcohol-like tea with a bunch of herbs, botanicals. It's kind of like gin, but instead of using a grain spirit, you're using wine base.
I love this. This is so cool. So you're making your own vermouth at Corbeaux, and it's going to be for winter. And then tell us something that's really delicious on the fall drink menu at Corbeaux.
So we have a strawberry mushroom Negroni, which I really like.
And I just want to point out for everybody that's going, wait, that's not fall. So we have so many different, I always call them, microclimates right in this area that we have blueberries and strawberries in fall and winter. So we're really lucky that way. So you have a strawberry and mushroom
Negroni
style. I have to come try that. That sounds crazy.
It's really, really nice. I can't use Campari in it because there's a whole licensing issues with my beer and wine license.
Because you guys have beer and wine, you're not allowed to do spirits. So you have to be careful what you're using, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And so we basically use it with a brandy, and then I use Peychaud bitters to bring up this more bitterness to it, like a Campari has. So I have to slightly imitate.
That just sounds really delicious. I mean, I'm getting sweet and earthy, kind of musky. Is that the flavor profile?
Yeah, it's really, really nice, and it's made with a hojicha syrup, which hojicha is really cool. It is,
and hojicha is a tea.
Yes, it is a tea. It is actually what they call in Japan the poor man matcha. Because when you harvest matcha young, but afterwards that plant still has its own things, and it becomes more like dried up sort of leaves and stems, that is hojicha.
And I'm really happy that we're talking about this for a quick second, because hojicha is a whole thing right now. You see it if you're going to a coffee house in LA, hojicha is everywhere.
Yeah.
And I see people ordering it thinking it's some kind of funky coffee, and I kind of giggle, but that's okay because I didn't know what it was a few months ago.
It's really, really nice. I like it a lot. It reminds me a little bit of like an oolong, but it is a green tea. So,
but it's, what's so cool about hojicha is, like, I was brought up to use nose to tail. I was brought up to use everything. Nothing went to waste in my dad's kitchen. And I find it so fascinating. Now I'm kind of seeing the trend circle back to that, where, like, why would you throw that part of that plant away? Yeah. Like, I don't understand that. Why can't we still use it? Why do people throw away the tops of their celery? Those leaves are like the best part, man, right? Or like the little top of I call it the umbilical cord on the squash, on zucchini, and I freak all my cooks out. They're like, that's a gross, chef, ew. And I'm like, but it is. That's gross. What connects to the plant. That's what feeds the zucchini to grow. And that is such a great part of the frickin' plant.
I mean, it's like especially going into cocktails and the movement of bartending and what you do and this mixology movement, you have to now do a lot more gastronomy stuff. And in kitchens, some of the best bartenders are actually cooks who know how to use that stuff. It's not just, hey, you want to make me a Long Island, yeah, of course, but there's nothing extra to that.
Yeah.
So a lot of it now has gone to sustainability, which is, reutilizing like those lemons. So when you juice them, do you re-put them into a compost and then you use that to, thrive with your herbs? Like a full sustainability of cocktails has been a massive movement because there's so much waste for us that we do.
Right. There's so much waste in our industry. And I love that you're doing this and you're part of this, but I'm sure our listeners are really intrigued by what you're just dropping right now. So Bobby, we're talking about the craft cocktail movement. I love that you're a part of it. I love that someone who's so highly educated and has this great background of science, like you really understand plants and like how to mix things and chemistry. It makes so much sense to me because we're also seeing this with baristas. I know people who have their masters that are baristas, and someone said to me the other day, because Gigi, is a barista and she loves coffee and what she gets to do in the world of coffee. Well, that's like a step down for her, isn't it? And I'm like, no, man, food and hospitality and cocktails and coffee, it's a beautiful world.
Yeah.
And I love to see education and food go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
Share.
I think.
Spill, baby, spill.
So, education and cocktails or food just in general is, you always have to keep learning and growing. Whatever the saying is, 10,000 hours, right? At that point, then you've mastered a craft of what you're doing, whether it's, being a janitor to being a doctor to being a PE teacher. You're doing something, and that is your profession. And if you enjoy it, that's all that matters, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And bringing joy to your community and like leading by example.
Yes.
And I think that's something that you do at Corbeaux, you and the entire team. And I'm curious what your thoughts are around sustainability and where those trends are going in the world of craft cocktails.
I think it's really good. I think, having this sustainability, it allows you to be more flexible with one, just food costs. And, you can minimize that by reusing things like what you said, the nose to tail. You're utilizing everything. And that's one thing that I actually work with my chefs about, because they're really good at knowing how to work with food and extracting flavors and pulling different unique things, and also a bunch of different techniques and how you do it. And so I always ask them, I'm like, how do we do this? Where do you think I can do this? We always bounce off ideas. We have this big brainstorming meeting sometimes, and it's food and it's also cocktails. And we use tea, and then we use that tea and, kind of, once the tea's done, we have a little bin that we save it in and, put it into some of the plants that are out in front of Corbeaux for just reutilization.
Sure. Yeah. So it's this full circle of life.
We try. We're not fully there. Like, 100%.
Yeah, but you're doing your part. And
Exactly.
I think the point that I want to make right now is that what we're seeing is beverages, cocktails, coffee.
Yes.
We're seeing this whole movement of professionals and chefs, right, getting into this world because of their appreciation. And we're seeing where we could really take it. Like cocktails and coffee drinks are being taken right to the edge. It's
100%.
like from like matcha foam to cold coconut foam.
I mean, I make a tzatziki cocktail that is, I infuse Greek yogurt with pisco and dill and cucumber. And
there we go.
Like that's a out of the left field sort of aspect of things. And we were playing around with a miso caramel syrup. Putting miso and caramel, I would not have thought of those things.
And then sumac.
Yeah.
Sumac and orange and caramel, right?
Mm-hmm. I made a Tehran cocktail for Chef's Table Takeover, and a Tehran is like a little Filipino dessert thing that he had. And I was like, I want to do this, and so it's made with jackfruit, bananas, saba, and so I infuse all these things, utilizing sous vide and
oh my gosh,
making tinctures of this and making tea and putting them together with simple syrup, and so.
I'm like really hyper right now about all of this.
They push me to extract flavors. And Chef always tells me, he's like, focus on the one key flavor that you want, and you utilize everything around it to just enhance it.
100%.
Rather than a lot of times here, just probably throughout a lot of cocktail bars, they just kind of throw the kitchen sink. They just, they keep adding flavors, and it's just not making a lot of sense. You can see chaos. And, one thing with sustainability is also in the movement that's kind of going to where people are actually using less ingredients rather than giving you
I do love that.
Yeah. Which also helps with cost, sustainability, reutilization of
But
stuff.
also I think that you feel better. I think that you do feel better when you're going to have a cocktail this way. So we spent most of the show talking about cocktails, and I do love that because I was kind of hoping you were going to bring something this morning for me to taste.
I was a little late too.
Oh, that's okay. Because, I'm like,
parking was a unique thing.
Parking was unique here. That's right.
Fix the parking.
Okay, so I have this big thing. Mari, our show producer, and I have this thing for music, our love of music. And you had sent me that one of your jam out songs is Good Vibes by Revolution. Yep. Revolution. See, I'm sorry, guys, band, humans. Which I had to go research and
Did you
play.
Listen to it?
I did. I totally do. Because this is how I get turned on, to new music. I mean, when Walter Carter was here from Danza, we both know Walter, right? In hospitality, he gave me Lil Wayne, and I know a little bit of that. A little bit of his music. And I totally jammed out. I'm like, I love Lil Wayne. This is intense. It's like my new jam.
Yeah, I mean, I love Revolution. Just good vibes. And I'm a California kid, and you're by the beach, hanging out, relaxing.
Okay,
just all good vibes. That's what it is.
So, are you going to make a cocktail called Revolution and Good Vibes?
Probably not. Maybe in the summer I might have something of that nature. But
okay, so I do know this about you, that you like musicals. I don't think anyone would ever guess this about you. And
just not Hairspray.
Just not Hairspray. But I want to know why Good Vibes by this band when you could have picked Defying Gravity from Wicked or Funny Girls, My Parade. Right? Because come on, you're a musical guy.
Yeah.
How do I
mean, I would have done Phantom of the Opera as an intro. Just
okay.
Make it really dramatic. We're coming into Halloween, so. No, I mean, I've just grown up listening to Revolution in high school. It's all me and my friends in baseball in the locker room. That's all we played.
Okay.
And we literally were just having a great time. I've been to.
All right. That's fair.
They're out of Santa Barbara. They're amazing.
Okay.
They're good.
Oh, they're out of Santa Barbara. All right. Well, shout out, right?
Yeah.
Keeping it kind of SoCal local. All right. So I'm intrigued that you like to go to movies by yourself. This is a thing about you. And I want to know what the perfect drink you would pair to a solo movie night for yourself would be.
Like a cocktail?
Yeah.
Negroni.
Oh, Negroni.
Or a Boulevardier. Let's go out of
a Boulevard Inn.
Boulevardier.
Oh, okay. I was like, what's a boulevard
Or
in?
a Vieux Carré, which I like, which
Okay.
a Vieux Carré is known as the New Orleans kitchen sink, where I don't know what date this was, but during the time they had Benedictine Remy Martin in their kitchen cabinet and just kind of put a cluster of a cocktail together.
That's such a chef thing to do, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And the Boulevardier is basically a Negroni, but with a whiskey.
Okay. I love that. That's okay. Now that you said that, because I had this whole thing with you told me that if you could be interviewed by anybody other than me on a podcast, it would be Joe Rogan.
I think that's for everyone's podcast.
Oh, no, it's
debuts.
not for everyone's podcast debut. And I will tell you why, because most of us don't like to be mansplained all the mother and time. So, and I know you're not going to mansplain me like Joe would mansplain me. So what?
We don't know. We've never met him.
I know. I'm totally assuming. You're right.
You said
See,
you were optimistic.
I said it. There you go. You can, you know what? I'm accountable.
But
I can be accountable.
With the reason I would say him is his platform reaches a lot of people. And you said you wanted to change the world. That could be one way of changing the world.
Oh, baby, I will.
That's right.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that. And I'm bringing that up because if Joe Rogan were a drink, what would he be?
Probably something with Buffalo Trace.
Buffalo Trace? What is that?
His Buffalo Trace is a bourbon.
I'm sorry. I called it because I was like, okay, I'm hoping that Bobby's going to say it's like a whiskey or a bourbon, because I feel like if I were a cocktail.
You want me to?
Well, okay. In your mind, I'll tell you what I think I would be, but what do you think I would be if I were a cocktail?
You know, the first thing that came to my head was Clover Club.
Clover Club?
Mm-hmm.
What is Clover Club?
It's a like raspberry sort of daiquiri.
Oh, really?
Nice.
I don't see myself as a daiquiri. I was going to say Negroni. And then you just said Negroni.
Or a Boulevardier.
Or a Boulevardier. And so I'm like, okay, you've got Joe whiskey, you've got Leah Negroni. Anyway.
And then you meet in the middle and you have a Boulevardier.
Oh my gosh. All right. You heard that, Joe Rogan. You're on the show next. So there we go. Okay. So our show is called At the Table, and you know a little bit about me. So you know how important the table is, and the stories that come out of it, and family and heritage and food. So I want to know what your favorite dish, like that first, like if you were to think about like a smell that brings you back to your childhood from food in the kitchen, what would that be? It can't be a Negroni.
No, it will not be. Reagan might say a bottle of wine, but she drank when she was younger.
Chianti, yeah.
Let's see. What would I be? Like I said, earlier when we were talking, my grandpa's meatloaf is one of the first things that
Grandpa's meatloaf. Awesome. Nice, hearty.
Yep. I grew up eating
one pan dish. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I grew up eating a lot of TV trays. And TV dinners is what we did. Honestly, Little Caesars Pizza, that takes me back to a lot of memory lane.
Oh, dude, that's a reason right there to bleep us.
What?
A bleep.
Hey, I'm just being open. No, when it comes to fully at the table, in terms of a dish, probably Thanksgiving or Christmas.
It's all those smells and spices and flavors.
Yeah.
I love that. And then your grandmother made a wicked good chili. We were talking about grandma, right? And was there like a specific spice she used that you can hone in on? Like if you smell something at the bar, like if is there some smell that just brings you back to your childhood?
Cumin.
That's rad. Okay. Chili, dude. Straight up.
Or like Chipotle. Like any of that. Like
that's your
spice grinded Chipotle.
And then that's a little bit of your heritage too, right? So your mom's side is English, British. Your dad's side is Mexican.
Yeah,
that's a cool. Sitting across from me, I would just say you're Irish.
Well, I do have Irish in me, and then when I grow my beard out, it gets red.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I want to see that.
I fit right into almost a lot of ethnicities. Like I was in Greece, and people would start talking to me in Greek, and I was like,
"You're like okay."
Yeah, and France as well. I'm a little bigger.
Multicultural over there. I love that.
I try to be. Well, Reagan really helps me try to be multicultural. She exposed me to food that I didn't think I'd like.
Well, that's the wonderful thing about having like a solid partner, like your life partner along with your partner in work. That's a lot of what I attribute my relationship with my daughter, Gabrielle, to be. And I know that's your relationship with your partner, right? Your fiance, right? Oh, fiance.
Yeah, I know.
And the person you get to work with is that you really are side by side discovering all of this, right? In food. And it's a really cool experience.
Yeah.
Like, I absolutely love this. And I love that I know Reagan's parents. I love them. And, I grew up with a little bit of wine.
Yeah.
Too. That's like Chianti, the bottle over the shoulder being poured in. So I fully get that.
It's actually funny you mentioned that and talking about, at the table and what kind of brings you back. We just brought on a wine that's from 2011. It's a Gurga Chills Cab Sauv. And she's like, it's a little bit more expensive at cost, but she's like, I really wanted to bring it on because it just took me back to a childhood where I would always be at the table eating, steak and, having a little, 2-ounce glass of wine when I'm like 12. And she's like, it just brought me back to that. And that's what, because her family does a lot of European sort of things where, it's not frowned upon to be having a little 2-ounce glass of wine when you're 10.
It's how I grew up.
Yeah.
And it's to every family's own, to each their own.
Exactly.
Beautiful. I love that. So if you could, from our conversation today, come up with a dish of what this all felt like, what would it be?
This one?
Yeah.
I don't know. Now you're making me tap into my creative mind.
Oh my God forbid I have you do that.
I don't know.
I feel like we need to cook together. I think this is leading up to like...
I'm not the best cook. I can make really good.
No, but cooking together
food
doesn't mean you need to know how to cook. There's so much joy in the kitchen.
Well, what I really like is, and it's something that Reagan has showed me, is you have to branch out and try things that you didn't want to have or you didn't know. Don't be so complacent for one item or dish. I mean, I was eating frog burger in Paris when I was there, and didn't think I'd ever.
But that's kind of a scientific mind, yes. Yeah. You're just thinking about this and what's in front of you right now. So what I'm hearing is Reagan is like, no.
Yeah, you gotta think outside the box.
Broaden your scope, baby.
Exactly. I mean, which then I know I don't like Thai food, but I made a Masaman cocktail.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Which was crazy.
I need to come try some of these cocktails. All right, so tell us what's up next for Corbeaux. Tell us what's going on, what people can expect, what you want to promote.
So we just launched our fall menu. Me and one of my Padawan, Erica, she's a rock star. She has 2 cocktails on the menu. She has a butterbeer Carajillo, and then she has the mushroom strawberry Negroni.
So a butterbeer Carajillo?
Carajillo.
What is a Carajillo?
Carajillo is the Mexican version of an espresso martini, but it's not in a martini glass. It's in a rocks glass.
I love that.
So it's really, really nice. That was when I was in a trip in Mexico, and I was like, I want to do Carajillos, and I love them. It uses liquor 43 and basically espresso, and that's it. But we don't use liquor 43 because I can't use it. The base of it is a grain still.
Sure.
So I can't use that. So I have to think.
So you have to be really creative.
Yes, it's really tough to do because I'm using wine-based spirits. So brandy, pisco, grappa, cognac, Calvados, anything that's wine-based, which wine is essentially all fruits.
So fruit fermented versus grain fermented.
Yeah.
Am I correct saying that? Okay.
And it can be fruit distilled.
Okay.
So yeah, we have to pivot a lot. And that's why we use tea. Tea helps us so much.
Tea. And I'm curious where you get your tea from.
So we work with the spice and tea merchant.
Bono, right? Yeah. Well, it's Sue.
Sue, yeah.
And I hope I'm not butchering your last name, Sue. But that's
Sue.
It's now Temecula Tea and Spice Merchants in Old Town Temecula.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really cool shop. You want to talk about
amazing.
apothecary, right?
You want to talk about anything or just like exploring different flavors, and they're so
no, but when you walk in, like it's just shelves and shelves and shelves.
Oh yeah, you're just they
look like old railroad ties.
Yeah, and I mean they also help me too, and I always ask, how does someone normally use this tea? And they say you can use it for this. We've seen it like this. They have books galore about spices. I mean, it's crazy. I
do love that.
They do a wonderful job, and especially just for anyone that wants to cook at home, you can go there and just, it's like a kid in a candy store.
It is. And they're really supportive. Sue, I think I was one of her first chefs that came down and like bought up half the store and got involved with her. And it's, bringing her to the table. And that's one thing I'm going to circle back right around and say, I think that's so cool that you guys are really local, hyper local, and using everything around you. And that's just inherent in Reagan though, too.
Yeah.
And Reagan was one of my students when I started the garden program at I'm going to say the elementary school she was at, because I try not to shout out too many schools, but and then circle back when she walked in to eat a number of years ago with Matin de Bois, which is the family winery, correct? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you also serve Matin de Bois at Corbeaux.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Corbeaux,
and it's a natural, freaking regeneratively grown grape, right?
It's minimal intervention. Okay. I wouldn't say natural. Reagan does have a natural line, which is Nude, which is up in Paso.
We're not talking about the show, y'all. We're not Nude right now. But no, that's the name of that wine, right? Nude?
Yes, Nude. Okay. Yeah, it's the name of. She has 4 different varieties of the grapes. So she has a Paquette, which is made from Mourvedre, and then she has a Pet Nat, which is a natural sparkling wine made from Tempranillo, and then she has a rosé made from Mourvedre, and then she has a white wine called Vino Blanc that we make with Grenache and Sauvignon Blanc.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Really freaking nice. It's lovely and it's delicious.
Yeah, and it's not that natural like kombucha bite that some of these natural wines have. It's really clean and crisp. It smells really aromatic, but on the palate, it's not sweet. It's a good acid level. It's really nice.
Okay, what's your favorite dish at Corbeaux? And then this is how we're gonna end the show. We're gonna talk about a dish of food. So what's a dish of food that you're loving to pair a cocktail with at Corbeaux right now?
Ooh. Pairing with a cocktail?
Okay, how about just your favorite dish?
My favorite dish is the duck karakari.
All right, there we go. Dude, I would totally pair that with that strawberry mushroom cocktail, 100%. So there, I just did it for you.
There you go.
I'm going to come down and fricking try that.
The Japanese maple might be good with it too.
Yeah, I think so. With duck, 100%. So I'm so inspired by everything I've learned from you today. Like, I really feel like I kind of have my work cut out for me now. But I'm hoping that we can circle back and have you on the show again at some point. Really talk about natural wine and the natural wine movement, because there's a lot to be said there for sure. And thank you for being here today. Thank you for being vulnerable and accountable.
The lights are slightly intimidating, but
Oh, the lights here in the studio for all of our listeners that don't see us on video. They can be intimidating, along with our studio dog, Remy, the poodle who's been sharking us the whole show, right? Bobby's like, get your dog off me.
It's calmed me down. It's calmed my nerves. So
calming the nerves. Okay, well, there's another way to calm your nerves, everybody. And that is pick up and take your bestie or your partner and go down to Corbeaux Wine and Tea House in Old Town Temecula, which is Southern California. Again, just so everybody knows where Temecula is.
Yep.
And go say hi to Bobby or Reagan. They've got a great squad down there. They serve delicious tea-based cocktails. Their wines are off the hook, which are all family made as well. And they have a beautiful menu. They're award-winning. They're a lovely group of humans that I personally champion and love to hang out with. And on that note, we're going to say Negroni out.
Negroni out. Boulevardier out.
Boulevardier out, man.
Whatever.
No more cocaine, Bobby.
No more cocaine. Please don't do it. Don't do drugs at home.
Don't do drugs. They're not good for your brain. And we really do mean that. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here at the table. I'm Chef Leah Delight DiBernardo, and we'll see you or talk to you next time. Every meal shared is a conversation started. I want to thank our guest today, and I really want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. It means a lot to all of us. You can find us on Instagram at The Table with Leah and anywhere you listen to your podcast. At the Table is produced by the very mighty Studio 215. Programming manager, Nate Marriott, our awesome studio manager, Brian Umali, and the gorgeous show producer, Miss Mari Fuentes. Thanks for being here.